Can a really simple story, I mean, the kind you might use to teach someone basic reading, actually give us the clearest model for how to act in a crisis?
It's a great question. We're so used to digging through, dense academic work for lessons.
Right.
But sometimes a story that's stripped of all that complexity, it can give you the cleanest possible data. If you can see how principles work in a simple setting, you can start to apply them anywhere.
And that is exactly our mission today. We're doing a deep dive into this short narrative. It's called The Courage of Maya, a village heroine. Sometimes it's just called The Brave Little Girl.
Yeah, I've seen both titles.
And we're not here to just, retell the story. We want to peel back that easy language and really pull out the wisdom. What can this text teach us about the link between thinking fast and being truly brave?
And how one person's choice can literally reshape how an entire community behaves. It's a perfect little case study, really. It lets us separate real courage, which is methodical and intelligent.
From just being reckless.
Exactly, from recklessness or just sheer impulse. And the most important lesson, I think, is right there at the start. The hero is a young girl. It proves from line 1 that courage has nothing to do with size or age or status. It's just a choice you make.
Okay, so let's get into that setup, because the source material is very deliberate. It tells us who Maya is before anything even happens. She lives in a small village by a river.
Standard enough.
But then it gives us her core traits. She's smart, she's brave, and she's always ready to help. And these aren't just, nice words. They're basically the tools she's about to use.
The resources she's going to deploy. And that deployment becomes necessary, almost immediately. The crisis hits. The source says the river is rising fast.
An unpredictable threat.
Yeah.
And it demands a quick response.
A coordinated response.
But that's exactly what doesn't happen. The community's goats, their livelihood, they're trapped on this little piece of land that's getting smaller by the second.
And what does the community do? They panic.
They start shouting. And the source gives us the exact words their collective decision is. It's too dangerous. No one can go there.
And that phrase right there, no one can go there. That is the moment. That's when the group stops trying to solve the problem and just gives in to paralysis.
Collective risk paralysis.
Yes, it's a textbook case. When the fear level gets too high for the group, responsibility just diffuses. Everyone kind of hopes someone else will act, or they just agree the problem can't be solved. It gives them permission to fail.
And all that shouting, all that fear, it actually creates the opening for Maya. She doesn't argue with them. She doesn't debate the risks.
She just internalizes it.
She just thinks, I have to save them. And that quiet internal decision, that's where her courage actually begins. It's her overriding the group's consensus of fear.
It's the switch from being a passive bystander to an active agent. Everyone else saw danger. She saw a problem that had a solution, even if it was a hard one.
And this is where the story goes from just being, inspirational to being really instructional. We see her quick thinking in action.
Right, because if she'd just jumped in the water...
We'd call her reckless. Maybe lucky if she survived. But she doesn't do that.
No, she doesn't. She goes and finds tools. A long stick and some ropes that were near the riverbank. She's leveraging resources.
Which proves that the descriptor smart wasn't about being book smart. It was about being resourceful under extreme pressure.
Absolutely. Courage without a plan is just a gamble. Maya made sure she was equipped. And those tools aren't random. The stick. Well, that's for stability, for feeling out the riverbed. The ropes are for guiding the goats, so she doesn't have to fight the current with each one. It's an engineering solution.
So it's not just a single brave act. It's a sequence of strategic moves. She tests the water, she manages the goats with the ropes, and the source emphasizes that she used careful steps.
That detail about the careful steps is so important. It tells you that her internal urgency didn't make her externally sloppy.
She kept control.
She kept operational control. She was focused on keeping herself steady. It's the difference between a panicked run and a measured tactical operation. True bravery often looks slow and careful.
And the villagers, who were just shouting in fear, now they're watching in silent amazement.
Yeah.
What does that silence tell us?
It's the sound of people's entire framework shifting. Their belief system just got shattered. They were certain it was impossible, and now they're watching it being done.
Their risk model was wrong.
Exactly. They're realizing the danger was real, but their assessment of their own ability to act was flawed. Maya becomes a new behavioral model for them right there in that moment.
And the story doesn't stop there. It gives us a second incident, almost like a confirmation. After she saves the goats, she immediately sees something else.
A small boy. He's struggling to cross the river.
Right. And this is so crucial because it confirms her character. If it was only about the goats, you could maybe argue as a practical economic decision.
But helping a child, that's pure altruism. It shows her traits are consistent. It wasn't a fluke.
And this time, the action is simpler. She doesn't need the stick and ropes. She just holds his hand and helps him get across safely.
It shows she's adaptable too. A complex problem with the goats got a tool-based solution. A simple problem with the boy gets a direct, human solution.
And now the community gets it. They see the pattern. They realize her quick thinking and courage had saved not just animals, but also a child.
It scales her contribution in their eyes, from saving property to saving a human life.
Okay, so then the narrative sort of zooms out and gives us the community's takeaway through the village elder. This is where the story basically tells us the moral.
It codifies the lesson. It takes her specific actions and turns them into a universal rule. And that quote from the elder is just. It's the whole thesis of the story.
Courage does not depend on age or size. A strong heart and quick thinking are more important than anything else.
And that's it, the two pieces. The strong heart is that internal decision she made, the choice to act.
And the quick thinking is the plan. The stick, the ropes, the careful steps. You can't have one without the other for it to be effective.
So let me ask you this then. Which of those two is harder for most people to develop? Is it the strong heart, the emotional conviction, or the quick thinking, the mental preparation?
That's a great question. The conviction can come in a flash of emotion, but the preparation, that takes work before the crisis even hits.
Right. And maybe the story suggests the thinking part is actually more accessible than we think. Look at what Maya says next. Her humility is key.
She says, I only did what I thought was right. Anyone could have done it if they tried.
Anyone could have done it. That line is everything. She's reframing heroism. It's not some superpower for a chosen few.
It's an option available to everyone.
Yes. She's telling them the barrier isn't a lack of strength or genius. It's just a failure to try, to commit to thinking carefully. She makes bravery accessible.
So, the elder gives the definition, and Maya shows that the ingredients are available to all of us. But the real payoff, I think, for us, for you listening, is what happened to the village long term.
This is maybe the most valuable part of the whole text. It shows how one act of courage can create permanent, positive change in a system.
So what were those changes? What did the community actually learn?
The source points to three things. First, the other kids who saw themselves in Maya, they learned to be braver and to help each other. A new standard was set.
So a peer-to-peer effect.
Definitely. Second, the adults started to rethink their own limits. They shifted from seeing only danger to looking for solutions. They started believing that small acts of courage matter.
And the third change, it seems to tackle the root cause of the problem, their relationship with the river.
Exactly. The final institutional change was that the village became safer. Not because they built a wall, but because, and I'm quoting here, people learned to act wisely and carefully when challenges came.
They adopted her model. They moved from panic to preparation.
That's the real heroism. Inspiring an entire group to adopt a smarter, safer way of operating. She literally hardwired her quick thinking into the community's culture.
They learned to ask, if a small girl can find her tools and think her way through this, what are our tools? And why aren't we using them?
It redefined their whole sense of what was possible.
So if we boil it all down for you, the learner, the core teachings are pretty clear. Bravery and kindness are powerful, but not without preparation. Courage doesn't just save a life in one moment. It provides a new model that can inspire lasting change.
And that quick thinking, the planning, the tools, the careful steps, that's the thing that turns good intentions into good outcomes.
Maya showed that a strong heart, combined with clear, disciplined thinking, is always stronger than fear.
Her actions prove that anyone, no matter who they are, can create these huge positive changes just by committing to being competent under pressure. It's an incredible lesson. And it leaves us, and you, with one last thing to really think about. If courage is just a strong heart plus quick, careful thinking, and if Maya was right, that anyone could have done what she did,
then maybe the biggest obstacle we face isn't the danger itself. It's not the rising water. It's our own failure to prepare our minds to act wisely. If bravery is just executing a plan that fear stops us from even making, then maybe the most courageous thing any of us can do today is to just start thinking right now about where our own sticks and ropes are long before the next flood begins.